I don't think it's supposed to be like that. Hi folks, Dave from No Fixed Address back with you with a follow-up video on our TrailerSaver BD5 fifth wheel hitch. We've been using this hitch now for about 3 years full time, and we just recently started having a problem with it. As it turns out, this problem is completely my fault because I was not lubricating it properly. Let me show you how this thing works and what I was doing wrong. So with this hitch, you see the 3 airbags underneath and shock absorbers just to dampen the motion of this beam here as it moves up and down on these pins. So where the beam rides on the pin is a critical lubrication point. And what I had been doing was spraying lithium grease above and below and hoping that the motion of this was taking the grease down onto the shaft through the beam. What I didn't know is there are actual grease fittings on that, and it makes total sense to me now, but I didn't know they were there. They're a bit hidden, but the manual does tell you about them, so like I say, this is completely my fault. Looking on the other side of the hitch now, you'll see there's a little notch in the beam right here, and there's a grease fitting right in there. So I should have been greasing those things regularly instead of what I had been doing. So the result of not having lubricated it properly, there's a lot of slop where those pins go through the beam, and both the pins and the beam sleeve itself have worn significantly, to the point where the last time we hitched up, it kind of jammed. One side went up higher than the other. And so I called TrailerSaver and I talked to them about it, and they explained what the problem was, and I had to get a new beam and new rods for this thing. So this is what they sent me. You see the beam there. It's got cups on it for the tops of the airbags, and 2 new pins. So today I'm going to be removing the old beam and pins and installing this. Looks like it should be fairly straightforward. I'm going to have to remove the tops of these shocks from the pins they're on, which is just pulling some clips and pushing them off the ends of the rods. And then I have to remove this big bolt in here so that I can take that top piece off. And then I can remove the 2 pins, and hopefully that beam will come out of there. So let's get started. Just pulling these pins. There's a washer as well, it has to come off. Shock absorbers are off. Now, gotta see if I've got a wrench big enough for that. She's tight, but it's moving. It's a big lock nut. Definitely beefy. No, I'm not damaging the threads. All right, big bolt. Ooh, that's heavy. Next, it looks like I need to just remove these pins at the top of the slide pins. And I think the slide pin should come out now. Yeah. Yeah, that is very worn. I'll show you that in a second. All right, pins are out. I'm just setting that on the table here, but you can see the amount of wear on that. Hopefully it's a good couple of millimeters, or between a 1/16 and 1/8 of an inch worn on that one side there. Not good. And up here, I don't think it's going to show on the video, but yeah, I can tell by looking at these holes that they are not round anymore. So theoretically, that beam, yeah, should come out of there now. Just sitting on top of the airbags. I might need to remove a bolt on the side here to get that out. Oh no, there we go. So the beam's not actually attached to the top of the airbags, it just sits on there. The cups fit over this lip here and center the airbag on each cup. So that was quite easy to remove. So looks like I just need to reverse the process now and put the new beam back in. Just to show you the difference between old and new, here's the new beam, and you can see there's not a lot of play in there, but this is horrible. There's a ton of play right there. Same on the other end, not much play. This one's way worse. I can't believe I let this happen. Quite embarrassing, actually. I should know way better. Anyway, let's get this new beam put back in. Before I put this in, I'm going to pre-lubricate these slides. Get them from the bottom side here too. And I think I'll put some on the pins as well. Let me get this put in there first. This has to go in on a bit of a diagonal to clear those bolt heads where the side plate's attached. I'm going to lube these up a bit too. Not quite lining up at the bottom there, but I think it'll go. Oh yeah, there it goes. Just want to make sure I get these turned so the pin will line up. Looks pretty good. Pin in, clip. Second pin, second clip. All right, and this is heavy, beefy. goes. I think I'll put some grease on this as well. Should help with insulation also. Just checking to see how well lined up we are. Oh, pretty good. I think it'll go. All right, time for the big old nut. The way it's designed, the head on the other end is not able to turn. They've welded a little tab onto the beam so that the head of this bolt is captured and can't turn, which is nice. Certainly makes it easier to install this nut. Almost. Now, given this is a lock nut, I'm thinking I don't need to get it crazy tight. It's probably plenty. Possibly even too tight, because that's not moving all that well right now. So I'm going to back it off a little. That's better. Now I should be able to get these shock absorbers back on. Oop. I have to put a washer on there first. And a clip. Alright, let's try this again. Just got to compress that. It's not too difficult. Have your washer. Okay, that's that side. Just repeat on the other side. All right, now the most important step, and the one I'll be doing regularly from now on. Let's get some grease into this. Should be enough. So that should be it. Pretty easy swap out of the old parts with the new. And all I need to do now is hitch the thing up. We're hitting the road tomorrow morning, so that's when that will happen. And air it up to ride height. And we should be good. And so anybody that has one of these hitches, make sure you're using those grease fittings. I think it was a YouTube video I watched where they were just spraying lithium grease on the pins, and that's why I was doing that. Obviously bad advice on that particular video. So from now on, obviously I'll be using the grease fittings. Anyway, other than that, we have been super happy with this hitch. It's got many miles on it, and it's been performing quite well, except for this little problem, which turned out to be easy to fix, and TrailerSaver was super helpful and easy to deal with. Their customer service is exemplary. So we are still super happy with this hitch, even though we had this problem. But, like I say, the problem was created by my lack of proper maintenance on the hitch, not a problem with the hitch itself. Anyway, thanks for joining me, and I hope you found this video useful. If you did, hit the like, subscribe buttons, and I'll put links to the other two videos that we did on this hitch. One was a review, and one was how to install it in the back of your truck, because they're a heavy beast. Anyway, thanks for joining me, and we'll see you later.